Hello, friends, and welcome to the Virtual Strangers review discussion of The Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend, Roots. Roots, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, doing good. Just got out of Curious Pets, and I'm looking forward to this weekend doing some more virtual strangers love, is what I like to call it, because we love to do the show. So
Yeah, agreed, totally. Love to do the show. Uh, love the weekend. What's not to love about VR and
that's
about
right.
this experience specifically? I felt like a lot of love went into this game. I could tell that someone uh, put a lot of effort into this, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, not only the a lot of the detail and the graphics and just the way everything felt and interacted, but the story as well. Like we were talking a little bit before we filmed, and you were even saying, uh, it seems like it's a real story. Like someone really experienced this, and you can feel it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, yeah. I felt that you know. Okay, look, perhaps we should start at the beginning here. The Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets. I would consider this to be a story driven exploration game with some light puzzles. Is that pretty fair to say, Roots?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the puzzles are definitely um, light as far as like not too difficult, but there's a few in there that actually stumped me for a good 5 minutes or so. But it's one of those puzzlers where you're looking at it and you're looking at it and you're looking at it, and then it clicks, and you're like, oh, like what the hell was I thinking? It's right in front of your freaking face. They did a really good job with the puzzles, actually.
Right, right. So this game releases tomorrow, the 14th of November, for $15. It's coming to us from Fast Travel Games. Again, I'd like to thank Fast Travel Games for granting us review access to this game. Um, so yeah, the puzzling in it, like you said, very light. Uh, this is more of an exploration game as far as I'm concerned. It really tests your skills of perception rather than your skills of logic, but it does make you think. There are a few spots where I had to stop for 3, 4, 5 minutes and think about what I'm doing in order to progress. Um, so the idea here is that uh, that you are trying to complete what they're calling dreams. Basically, what they are memories, memories of your childhood, that memories of time that you spent at your grandparents' house with your sister, and apparently there were always a lot of animals, a lot of creatures around. You loved animals. Your sister loved magic, like magicians, like magic shows. Um, this was one of the things that made me think that maybe was a little bit of a real story behind this, because it seems a kind of like an odd combination, animals and magic. It seems a little too on the nose for someone to just be completely fabricating this, right?
Yeah, and the story would be it'd be weird to make up. It's one of those stories that when you when I listened to it, it just felt real. So if somebody did make it, they did a good job of putting something together that I thought was real. But yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. I kind of connected with it in a way, not so much from the individual scenes, but some of the overlying themes that stretch across all the scenes. Things about reconnecting with your family and issues that or the kinds of petty disagreements that siblings have when you're younger. Things like this made me think of experiences in my real life. Did you experience that at all?
Yeah, but I try to keep distance from my distance is there for a reason. No, just kidding. But yeah, and that again, that shows that um, that's why I think it's real. It's just kind of like with music. The best music is ones that come from within. Like you really have a heartfelt feeling when you're writing it, and people pick up on it. And I think that's the same thing with this story. And it's not for everybody as far as like, I think this is a really, really good game that I think a lot of people will love, and I think a lot of people will, because they're just not into like cartoony type of things or this type of game. They might not like it, but I think it's a good kids game, and I think I really liked it. Anybody that liked Nog would probably like it as well.
Right, right. You're right. This is a very high quality game. A lot of thought put into the story, a lot of thought put into the levels and the worlds. Um, a lot of talent into the audio visual aspects of it. But you're right, it's not for everyone. You have to particularly enjoy either a good story or or exploring, to enjoy a game like this. Obviously, if you're somebody who only likes to play Pavlov or Onward or something, this might not be your cup of tea. But if you do like something that feels genuine, feels heartfelt, and if you'd like to explore uh, these, that's one of the best things about VR is that how it allows you to explore these other spaces and other worlds. If you enjoy that sort of thing, you might enjoy this game. Now, Roots, let's go to the look and sound of this for just a moment. Uh, Only because it's really the first thing that you notice right off the bat when you get into the very first level. And we've alluded to it many times on this before, that one of the easiest ways for VR developers to make an impression upon the player is by playing with scale. And it goes both ways. You can either make the player minuscule in this gigantic world, or you can make the world minuscule and the player gigantic. And that's what this game does very effectively. It gives you these 5 separate little worlds that are so tiny that you're able to view the entirety of it, uh, you know, basically from the comfort of your seat here. And, for such a charming story and such a charming world, it's fitting that they've miniaturized everything so that you can take it all in. That it's similar uh, to the type of thing that you experience in other games like Moss, and in particular Ghost Giant. I got a heavy Ghost Giant vibe from this game because it deals with a lot of the same elements, not only with the exploration but the heartfelt story. Did you notice any of this, Roots?
Oh yeah, but my biggest thing was I really wanted to shrink myself down and jump on that train, just ride around this thing. That's the thing that was coolest is like I'm looking in the cabin and I'm watching people coming in and out and all the things that I could interact with, and it just was really cool. It reminded me of like those old school games that I would have my kids play when they were little, and everything is interactive, and they loved playing. And then that's why when I was watching this, even though it does have a somewhat of a deep story, I could just see like your kids loving this game. It's just so cool, and it looks really cool, and it's just like you said, very charming. And then of course the story, and we won't go into too much detail, but it's all about Grandpa and Sis, and your sister, and one thing I was a little bit disappointed, and this is not, this is only my personal thing I wanted. In the beginning when with the pictures, I wanted to Mario 64 it. I wanted to go in the picture. Now I know that's unrealistic and that's neither here nor there, but I was like, man, I really want to zoom into this thing. But no, I think that the way they did this was very, very well done, and very, just very creative, and you can tell that somebody, it comes from from the heart, and you feel it.
Yeah, Yeah, I felt the same way. How about the graphics though? I mean, absolutely beautiful. I mean, not the most complex, detailed, textures in the world. It is a bit cartoony, but absolutely clean on the Oculus Rift S. Of course, I did super sample it to 150, but it ran buttery smooth at that, and I couldn't see a single flaw in any of the worlds. What about you?
No, and what you were saying is, we both recorded a little bit of gameplay, and I put it at 150, and I didn't have any. It ran perfect for me as well, and sometimes that's one of the things that I have to worry about when I'm recording, because I don't have a separate recording computer yet, and so I have to be wary of that. But this ran perfect, so obviously they optimized it very well, and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and sound just on the same level of the graphics, and it's not a big surprise coming from these developers. They've had some experience in VR before. Of course, they brought us Apex Construct, um, but not only did they bring that game to us, but they did a great job of porting that game through all the different platforms. And even though I haven't tried it on the Oculus Quest yet, I won't have access to that until tomorrow. I think that that's really where this game is going to find its niche is on that, because I feel like more than anything that this game is going to be a great demo for new players. And of course, that's what the Quest is designed to do. It's designed to be a demonstration for those new to VR. And I think that this title in particular is a title that anyone can pick up, that most people are going to make an emotional connection with on some level. And anyone who's going to be able to play this, even if they have no experience playing video games at all. What do you think about it as a demo title, Roots?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if it, especially for like I said, somebody that wants to look at something scale wise, look at something up close to the little things, and have a good story for sure. And it's not too expensive either. I mean, it's only $15. And even if you get it on a sale, it's even cheaper. So I mean, definitely well priced, very fair.
Yeah, I think it's a fair price. I did struggle with that a bit when I was thinking that, is this worth $15? Is it not worth $15? It's easy to say it's worth $15 when they're granting you review access, but that brings me to the only downside that really I found about this game uh, is length. I played through this in somewhere between 60 to 90 minutes. I didn't time it exactly, but I played through it in one sitting, and I wasn't tired of playing when I got done. I kind of wanted to keep going with it. What about you? How long did it take you to play through this thing?
Somewhere around there. I'd say 60 to 90 minutes. I thought I pegged it more at about 90 minutes. But I was looking for every single coin. I was trying to, some of the puzzles I got stuck a little bit on. But yeah, for the most part, it's about 90 minutes. And I thought the same thing. I thought, I kind of wish it was a little bit longer. But it's all subjective as far as, I mean, I've spent more at a 2 hour movie these days at like an IMAX movie type of experience. So,
Well, that's it, isn't it? When it comes to the end of it, you spent about what you would spend on a movie ticket. I had way more fun playing through these five worlds. For those of you who, in case we didn't mention that, there are five different levels in this. I had fun playing through these five worlds, more fun than I would have had going out to the theater and seeing a movie. And now I have something that I can share. I can share this with my wife. I can share this with my children, with my friends and family. Uh, so $15 starts to seem more like a realistic, price for this. And what really made my mind up on the price specifically is when I was thinking, okay, this thing is structured. Each individual world is its own memory. It's its own level, that they're all independent of one another. So there's an opportunity here for DLC. They could add levels into this. And then it comes to, well, is it going to be free or is it going to be paid? If it's paid, would you buy it? And if so, how much would you pay for it? And for me, the answer was yes. I would definitely buy more levels to this, and I would pay $2 or $3 each for it. And if I'm willing to pay $3 a level for it, and there's 5 levels, that comes out to $15, which is right where it's priced. Roots, would you like to see DLC for this? And if so, how much are you willing to pay for it?
I would love to see DLC for it, and I don't want to pay anything for it.
I didn't say
Must,
want. I said how much are you willing? How much are you willing to
well,
pay for it?
well, that's subjective as well, because I don't know that I would. And my thing is I'm wary to get into that, and I know that they would never sell levels for something like this, or like, it would be weird that they would. Usually that's more for like music and stuff, and I get that because when you go to do say a pistol whip or a Beat Saber, usually it's because they're covering the cost of the royalty rights, right? So they have to charge something, and there's no royalty rights to levels. So I would hope that they would do it for free, but I'd say if I had to pay for it, I'd pay $2 a level. So yeah, I mean, your correlation makes sense. It's definitely worth it on that level. And what is each level? And I just look at how much time you're going to spend, and I look at it differently as well, because I'm always intending that at least one other person is going to be playing every game I have somewhere down the road, whether it's me, you, my family, Mamefan, Alex, somebody's going to play it. So
Yeah, and something else you have to factor into that $15 price tag as well is that this game is cross-buy enabled. So if you buy it on Rift, you get it on Quest. You buy it on Quest, you get it on Rift. And when you take that into consideration, $15 starts to seem like a little bit more of a deal, doesn't it?
yeah, and I think that's actually really worth it, especially if you got the Quest. That's why I'm kind of psyched to hear what you say about it. I might just pick it up on the Quest when it comes out, or when I get one.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's the great thing about it is whenever you do get one, this will be waiting for you. The way it's set up, the cross-buy is you just it doesn't automatically come into your library on the Quest. You have to go purchase it from the store, but they give you 100% discount on it. So you just click on it and check out for free, kind of like PS Plus or something like that. Um, anyway, okay, so we covered the gameplay. This is again exploration with some light puzzling. 5 different worlds, very unique level variety here, wasn't it, Roots? 5 totally different worlds, way different from one another.
I was so happy when I got to the fifth world too, because every time I went back to my home, it taunted me with magic. I saw the magic kit. I had the magic hat. I tried to pick it up. I tried to pull stuff out of it. I put it on and it would fall to the ground. And so I felt like, man, I felt like I really needed to see this magic world. And then I went into the last one, and that's what I got. I got the magic world and the magic hat. I got to pull shit out of it. I'd say my itch was scratched. I was very happy. So
Yeah, that is one of the cooler aspects of this game is because you are in basically a dream world. It kind of allows you to bend the rules of reality, so things that normally wouldn't be possible are possible now all of the sudden, and that was never as obvious as it was in that last level when you literally have a magic wand, and without giving away too much of what you're doing, you're basically performing magic on this beautiful majestic castle like world. Um, so again, great level diversity, a heartfelt story that I felt came from some sort of reality. I think that someone did give some part of themselves to this story, and it's very obvious from the very get go of it. Um, Beautiful from a audio visual standpoint, an all around good time if you like this sort of story driven exploration. Um, Again, only negative I really have to say about it is the length, but when you consider that it's priced at $15, I think that that's an appropriate price, especially when you consider cross buy and put that into the equation. So, very well done. Again, not for everybody. If you're into blowing bad guys' faces off and that's all you want to do, uh, none of that here. But if you like to if you like to just sit down, relax every now and then, and play something that just makes you smile just from being in these worlds, definitely a recommend from me. Roots, what's your final thoughts on this thing?
Well, let's be honest. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. This is like the ultimate pistol whip palate cleanser because you even said it. I needed to sit that my ass down. I didn't even sit down, and I wish I had now because my legs are still sore. But you know, it's a great game to sit down and just chill out and veg and enjoy. You know, especially when your legs are sore from all that squatting and dodging. But yeah, I think it's definitely must pick up for me if you like this type of game. It's a fair price. If you feel like $15 for an hour and a half of gameplay is a little too steep, then you know I guarantee there'll be a sale at some point. But I definitely pick it up if you like this type of game. You know.
Yeah, well, you got to consider it's not just an hour and a half for you. It's an hour and a half for your boyfriend or girlfriend. It's an hour and a half for everyone that you show your quest to. So when you start to look at it like that, the value starts to show a little bit more with it. Um, but yeah, what you're saying there is absolutely true. For those of us, most of us, let's be honest, who have sore legs right now from playing Pistol Whip, one of the greatest things about this game is you can sit down and play it, which is exactly what I did. I sat in this chair right here. The world you can just grab and rotate and move it up and down, left and right, every which way that you need to. And, uh, and it's one of those games like Gadgeteer that you can just play wherever you're at, get comfortable, relax, and play. And it's timely. It's a good time for a game like this to come out, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you know what's kind of cool is they had multiple options for moving. Like as I drug it at first, and then I realized that the inside triggers moved it, and then I realized that you can spin it with the joystick as well, which I ended up using the joystick just because I don't like to grab stuff and incrementally move it unless that's the only way I can do it. But I thought that was kind of cool that they gave you multiple options on how you could spin that sucker, you know. But yeah,
Yeah, that's a telltale sign of an experienced VR development crew because everyone knows who's been in VR for 2 hours or longer that what you want to give the VR player more than anything is options. And all of the best developers put as many options as they can into their games for locomotion, movement, graphics, everything. It's always good just to let your game be customizable, or at least as customizable as you can. And this isn't a foreign concept to those at Fast Travel Games. Um, a really solid job they did on this game here. Uh, and while they may not be, on the top tier, they may not be up there with the, your Ubisofts and your Insomniac games or your Capcoms. I do feel like they may be moving into that second tier of VR developers where you have your Servioses and your now I guess we have to put Sanzaru in that line. Used to we just had indie devs and AAA devs. We're starting to see some tiers develop in between, and I feel like Fast Travel Games are one of these studios like Archiact, like Vertigo Games, that are moving into maybe not the very top tier of VR game developers, but just underneath it, that second tier, because they put out quality games, and I feel like all they need is another title or two to establish themselves, and we're going to be looking at them in a few years as one of the premier independent VR houses in the world.
I agree. Now, let me ask you one question. What did you think about that bastard bitch plant there that snaps shit out of your hand. Like, man, I started taunting it, and it would, like, I had that broom, and it was like ripping it out of my hand, and like, it gets angry, man. That's a vicious plant, man. It is not messing around, and it wants to snap your finger off.
Yeah, I wanted to really find something to hurt that thing with. I really wanted to catch it on fire. That was my ultimate goal here, was to catch that thing on fire somehow with the lava from that volcano. And I wasn't able to make this happen. But man, I'd say I probably spent more time on this one than any of the other levels just because of that, because I wanted to burn
Yeah,
that thing.
I was messing with that plant. I was like, man, I am just so irritated with this thing because no matter what I did, it was whipping stuff out of my hand. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Just the way that they did this, the intuitiveness of the puzzles are really cool. So,
That thing looked like a Little Shop of Horrors too, didn't it? Like dead
yeah.
on Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, I was expecting them to say, feed me, Seymour. But
Feed me.
never happened. So,
All right. Anyway, we're rambling on here, so I guess we better wrap it here. It's a solid recommend from Roots and I both, with the caveat that it is a bit short and it's not for everyone. Obviously, if you're dead inside and you have no soul, you're not going to like this. But if you do have a
yeah.
heart, you like something story driven that's got some charm, and you like to explore these miniaturized worlds, something like maybe 10 Hearts, you like something like Ghost Giant. If you like these sorts of games, you're going to like this one too. And give it a look. Check it out.
Yep, I agree.
All right. With that said, friends, what do you think about this game? Are you going to try it out? You're going to wait for a sale? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to click the thumbs up. And for those of you new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to keep up with all of our nearly daily content here on the Virtual Strangers channel. With that said, friends, we'd like to thank you for watching. And for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.